everybody, welcome back to the training of the Modicon M221. In this video, we're going to talk about the RTC, the real-time clock that we have in the PLC when we are trying to program the controller using the EcoStruxure Machine Expert Basic. So let's go to the presentation. What you need to know about the real-time clock of the PLC is that you have a function block called RTC that allows you to read and write the RTC of the controller. If we don't want to use this function block, what we can do is to read and write the information from the date and time that we have into the system words that we have on the controller, which are the ones that are indicated over here, the percentage SW50 to the percentage SW53. And in order to update the date and time of the controller, you need to activate this system bit, which is the 50, S50. In order to avoid that, we can use a function block that we're going to cover in this video. Why explain this? Because in the past, if I'm not wrong, we don't have this function block, and what we need to do is read these system words and work with some conversions to change from the BCD to binary code and then read the information that we want, like this. So in here, this is a small example how we can do that without using the function block. In this case, I'm reading the system word SW53, F52, okay, and I use the function on the operator block SHL to move to the left 8 registers, 8 bits to the left, so we can divide what is the day and month in this variable. Okay, this is what I usually am doing, and if I'm not wrong, I have it over here. Okay, just hold on a minute. The other side here. Okay, so I'm going to simulate this, launch simulation, so you can see it. Okay, good. So play. You can see these are the system words that we can use. These can be found in here in tools, system objects, system words, and if we go to the percentage SW here, okay, you can see that we have in these variables, okay, the date and time that we can use to show in another HMI or synchronize the data. Okay, you can see here, and this is how I use it. Okay, I'm reading the variable over here, and in order to separate from the same variable that has the month and the day, I just move into an auxiliary variable on the PLC. I move with the shift register so we can complete with 0 and then read the information I want, okay, just to separate using the converter and then the first using the replay the moving the shift of the bits inside the word, and then I use the converter from BCD to binary so we can read the data. I'm not going to focus too much on this one because this can be easily solved with the function block that we're going to cover in this video, which is the RTC, which is this one. Okay, you just need to get access to the instance variables inside to read the data much easier than that we had done in the past. So let's continue with the presentation. This is the previous way to do it. Now, how we can use the RTC function block in our PLC. We need to go where all the function blocks are located and then select this one that have a small clock. Click and then select where you want to put it in your code. And when you move around this function block, you can see this pre-configuration to set the date and time in your controller. Now, Let's continue this. If we double click on this function block, we can see the same that we have in the past in this small window, but here all the instance that we are able to see. Okay, and this is important to have the pre-default configuration for the timer. Let's continue this. Now you can ask how I can get access to the information date and time. Okay, it's simple. The first thing that you need to do is to know which is the instance of the RTC that you have. And then, as we saw in the timers or the counters, we have variables that are linked to the function block that we have. In our case, in this, we have these ones that we have for reading and the same for writing. So, as you can see here, I'm not trying to access to the RTC instance 0 dot day dot month dot year dot hours dot minutes dot seconds and move that information to a percentage NWU variables so I can read this and share the information, for example, to an HMI to show the actual time of the controller. And if I want to write, for example, from an HMI to change the date and time for the PLC, is the other way. So we use the same variable, okay, and we move a percent %NW variable to the instance dot the variable that we want to change in our controller. Okay, is similar to this example that I have over here. Let me just show you. Similar to this. So this is the function block where it's called. Okay, I'm going to log out. Here you have the possibility to check if there is any error using this. Okay, and if you want more exact information, just move the error ID into a percentage %NW variable in order to share with an HMI. And here I have separated the reading and the write. You can see I start with the percentage %NW variable that I want to share with the HMI to show the auto date and time to the instance dot the variable that I want. And in order to write, I use the instance of the RTC dot the variable that I want, link it to a percentage %NW that came from, it can be right from the HMI. Okay, this is how we can work on this one. I'm going to continue with the presentation here. So the idea now is to call this RTC function block, read the actual time of the PLC. What we're going to do is to make this conveyor belt work during this time from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. When the machine is disabled, the output Q03 will be off, will be activated. So let's go to here to see the steps that we need to do. So just to make this much easier, what I'm going to do is to copy and paste from my example I have that I show you. I'm going to copy and paste the complete POU to the code that I have so I can do it much faster. Okay, so in order to move this into the other side, what I'm going to do is to right here copy POU and paste it in the project that we were working with. So paste POU. I'm going to maintain the new symbol I have created. Okay, good. Okay, good. Everything is in there. Okay, good. Now let's go back over here. To move this to be called after the configuration. Okay, good. Now, what we need to do now is to enable the machine between a period of time. So in order to make it easier, I thought that instead of working hours and minutes, we can work everything in minutes. So we can change the actual time of the PLC, the hours and minutes, to only minutes, okay? And then compare between the 2 minutes level that I have when the machine should be working. And that can be translated into this part over here. So I can read the actual time of the PLC, okay? And I can read the actual time in hours, okay? The part of the hours, multiply by 60 to read only minutes. And then if I work with an HMI, I can put on the HMI this variable, okay? The time in minutes that the machine won't be on and the hour, and the same for when the machine is off, okay? So imagine, in our case, I want to be 8 a.m. So the hour will be 8 and this one will be 0. And this one over here will be 5 p.m. will be 17, 0, 0 on this one. So we can translate everything in minutes, and then we can make a comparison about the time that the machine is enabled. Okay, so if the actual time is bigger than the time that the machine should be on and lower than the machine that should be off, the machine should work. Okay, so let's try to put this into the software. So let's go back over here. Okay, just put this on this side. Perfect. So let's go to the control management. Let's put this over here. So I'm going to create a new POU. Now I need to create a few function blocks, but no problem. A new variables short. So this one will be machine on. Time machine, based on the example, is called time machine. So I have created the percentage NW2. It should be equal to the actual time that I have the variable over here plus multiply by 60 plus percentage NW 46. Okay, so I have the actual time plus the hours, okay, multiply by 60. So everything will be in minutes. Now we should do something similar now with the configuration time that comes from the HMI, for example. Percentage NW3 NW60 plus this. They are just new variables and I need to create. Okay, just hold on to finish this part. Percentage NW 4 colon equal, oops, percentage NW 1460 plus percentage NW 15. Okay, we can add all this over here. Okay, now we need to make the comparison in order to check and give you a better idea of what I'm doing. Going to assign names over here. So this one, percentage NW, will be an auxiliary from the RTC actual total in minutes. Okay, this one will be the auxiliary machine on total in minutes. And copy and paste it over here. The same, but in off. If I'm not wrong, I believe that's it for the percentage NW. Okay, and now I need to define the variables that can come from the NHMI. So CFG for configuration, machine on, hour, This one will be minutes. This one will be off. This one will be off in minutes. Good. Now I need to create another variable to indicate, let me just move this over here so we can see everything. Okay, good. Now what we need to do is to indicate that the machine is not going to work using a percentage %m variable. In this case, percentage %m1. Let's put machine auxiliary machine on. Perfect. So now we need to make a comparison using the blocks that we have used before, the comparison block that we have seen previously. And then we need to activate or indicate that the machine will be on. Okay, so now let's close this part over here like this. Now we need to make the comparison. So if the actual time is bigger M2 bigger than, bigger than the activation of time that we have configured on the HMI, which is this one, but in minutes, then, and if it's lower when the time that should be off, percentage NW2, percentage NW4, then the machine would be activated and should be on. So let's go back here to see what is next. Now, we need to indicate one of the output when the machine is not working or it shouldn't be working. Okay, so we're going to use that in order to activate one output to indicate that the machine is disabled, and then I'm going to disable the execution of all the inputs that they have and the other output. So let's go back to the software. So over here in the configuration, Q03 should be Q machine disable. Apply. Okay. Now, if the machine is disabled, this is just a case, it's not mandatory in a real machine, but just in this, I'm going to disable the execution of everything that I have. So M1, I'm not going to allow that anything that comes from the real machine comes into the software. So in this case, I disable the execution of the inputs, and I'm going to avoid the execution of the output that I want. Okay, this one, M1. So now if we compile this, okay, play, and if we go to the management, let's see what do we have. This, everything is in 0, so this is gonna be enabled. What we can do is create a new animation table, machine on. So I have used the percentage SW, let me just double check, SW12, NW12, to indicate the time of the machine. That should be working fine. Okay, so right now, which is the time right now, okay, there is no indication of the actual time because if we go to the RTC, this is not called yet. So what we need to do is to enable this, and then we need to execute the read. Okay, this is the preset, but is everything in 0. Okay, so you can see here, you can read some information. Okay, and the view and everything over there. And if we go to the where is it? RTC, no, the management. If we go to the management, we should be able to see some comparison now here. So now is 3 p.m. 46, and I'm reading this in minutes. So now it's comparing something that is bigger than 0 because it's not configured now. So the machine will be on at 8 a.m. to 15, 5 p.m. So now you can see that the machine is working fine. And if I need to execute an input or something, it is going to work. But if, for example, you have specified that the machine ends at 3 p.m., should be 15, it's not going to work. And the output that I have configured, but I haven't created yet, my bad. Let me just go back over here. M1, Q0.3. Is everything in 0? Okay. I need to read this again. Just hold on, just to show you. So I need to read, enable, and then read. So it's reading, and the information for the complete percentage should be over here. Just add this. And the view 42. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It should be in here. Okay, the complete date and time. So now the comparison can be made over here. You can see if we convert everything in minutes, it makes the comparison. And if I change this to 4 p.m., it's working fine. Okay. And if we go back to the outputs now that I have an add, okay, you can see that the machine is not disabled. And if I change this to 3 p.m., it will be disabled. So far we can see how we can use the RTC function block, enable and read. And if you want to write information, new information, you just need to change the value of the inputs that you have over here to read, RD read, WR for write, and this one must be enabled. So when you have this, you can access to the instance that you have on the PLC of this function block to change the date and time or read the date and time. And then you can move the information to a percentage NW variable, so you can externally using display, the remote display for the M221 or an HMI of the Harmony, you can change the variables that you want or read the variables that you want over there. So this is it for the RTC. In the next video, we're going to see the how we can work with the schedule. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I see you on the next one.